Rich Tehrani here with TMC. Thanks for watching. On our program today is Daniel Sarfati with Applango. Daniel, how are you?
Very well. How are you, Rich?
Very excited to have you on the program. I'm doing great. I thought we'd start at the top and talk a little bit about what your company does.
Right. So what Applango does is to measure the usage of most common software as a service applications. So think of Google Apps, Salesforce, Box, those applications. So we measure every single step done by users on those applications and we report on that.
Excellent. And who would be the company that would benefit from this reporting?
Right. So first of all, companies who invested large amounts of money on those applications, they are heavily invested there. And by the way, it's a pretty recent investment. So you want to make sure that if you spend that kind of money, and we're talking about millions of dollars, those licenses are put to use. Also because many processes happen over there, and if processes are supposed to happen there and people are not using the application, then you have a broken process, and you can really afford that.
So just to set this up, there was a time when most of the applications that we use were software, and they resided on computers, and it was easier to track what people might have been doing. But now, as things have migrated to the cloud, the tools don't exist to as easily track what your workers are doing.
Correct. That's a very good point. The issue is that today, think of, for instance, of Salesforce and a road warrior. If you track only what is happening on this person PCs, then you're missing probably most of the traffic. A lot of it happens over iPhones or any other kind of mobile device, including devices brought in by the users themselves. And so if you want to track that, you need a tool like Applango.
And are you able to actually determine via your solution what device the person happens to be using?
Yes, we can do that as well. That is also, we take all the information from the vendor, so whatever happens at the vendor side of the deal, and so that is also part of what we can track.
And that could be useful, right, to determine where your workers are, and if they're, let's say some of the more successful employees are using mobile devices all the time, maybe that's a sign.
Definitely, for sure. This is another part of what we do, that we can provide an analysis of what the people have been doing, how they've been using the software, and correlate that, for instance, to success parameters. And so you can analyze that a certain pattern of behavior equals success, and if that is the case, then you can hopefully replicate that pattern of success to everybody else which is maybe struggling on some of the activities they're doing.
So I'm sure we've captured the attention of a lot of people watching, and they're wondering whether or not your solution currently works with their cloud service. So what are the current things that you're working with?
Right. So right now we are integrated with the applications which are most widely spread. So the choice was easy because the most widely used software as a service application is the Salesforce.com. So we started with that, and immediately after we connected with Google Apps, because it is also a very popular application, and with Box storage, which also they are installed, I would say, most of the Fortune 1000 today. So it made a lot of sense. And the idea is, again, to track activities over multiple applications. And this, I think, we are pretty unique. I don't think anybody else does that. But this is because activities happen over multiple applications. We don't do everything on one piece of software. So if you really want to understand what are the behaviors that work, the ones that it's worth tracking and teaching everybody else, then you want to see it from multiple angles.
Now, what about behavioral shifts in the worker? Let's say something happens to a worker where things change all of a sudden. Can you pick that up?
Right. That's also very interesting. Thank you for the question. So, yes, I'll just make you an example. Think of identifying a salesperson who had a terrific quarter, and then you see all of a sudden that their level of activity on Salesforce drops by 5 times in the following quarter. What does this mean? Why is the person all of a sudden, let's say, stop working? Okay, so probably it's an issue with the way this person has been motivated. If you would offer this person a Ferrari for repeating the performance of the previous quarter, they will certainly put all the effort they can. But sometimes the quotas are not set right, or the motivation are not what the person expects, and so people do quota engineering instead of working. But this is certainly something which we can help. Or identifying, for instance, an employee who is struggling and bringing their results, and you see there's a lot of activity and maybe not much results, but maybe they need some coaching, or maybe they need to understand how to learn to use the tool better. And it's all real time. The other option would be wait till the end of the following quarter to find out that you have a problem, and that's not smart. The information is available, and we present it to the customers.
Now, just to reiterate, in case we didn't touch on it or we didn't go into it in enough depth, where does your solution sit exactly?
So we sit on Microsoft Azure. So we are a completely cloud application, software as a service ourselves. And we connect through APIs mostly, but not only, to those applications that I mentioned before. And so everything is virtual and everything is in the cloud.
Great. Now, what if I'm a company and I have a whole bunch of licenses and I'm not really sure if your solution will be good? Is there some way for me to see how it works, or how does that work?
Oh, yes, certainly. We offer a free trial. By the way, installing our solution takes 30 minutes. And so it's very quick. From that point on, we start counting events, because that's another point, that this kind of information does not exist. History is not tracked on those applications. So we start tracking, and then after a couple of weeks, you'll probably have a good picture of who has been using the application, who's not, how much, what detail, and then you can decide if you like it. And certainly if you see that you have issues, you may want our application to help you monitor the issues and see that you really fix them.
Now, what category does this fit in terms of, if we have to pick a generic category, like financial software, or is this analytics software?
So it is certainly big data, because we are collecting a truckload of stuff. Easily, as our data scientist says, the events that we can monitor in one day do not fit in an Excel sheet. And it's only 36,000 rows, and you fit them all in less than a day. We have not such a large customer. Okay, so it's certainly big data analytics, and it's into behavioral analytics. It's if you want a tool to improve the performance of people, monitor the performance, and drive excellence, if you like.
Okay, so performance monitoring and performance optimization, something
Correct.
like that.
Correct.
Okay, is there anything else that the viewer should know about your company?
So we're very excited, because we launched the software, the service. Software as a service. So we launched the service in September, and we're very excited to be here and to be able to promote it. And going forward, we hope to be able to show it to as many people as possible.
Well, congratulations. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.